everybody. Welcome back to the REDX podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Haley Johnson. I'm going to be your host today. We have Stephen Christie here with us. Say hi, Stephen.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for coming. First time guest. So I'm excited to have you on and we're going to talk about some awesome stuff today. Before we get into that, I just want to talk to the audience. If you are here live, we want to tell you that this is a participatory event. So if you have questions for Stephen, feel free to chat them in wherever you're watching and we can try to get those answered. Also, if you're not already subscribed to the podcast, you can do that a few ways. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, or you can go to redx.com/podcast, put your email in, and we'll email you every time there is a new episode. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we have a really exciting topic today. We're talking about conversion and objection handling, which I think is very important for real estate agents, and we'll get into why and all the good stuff. But first, Stephen, why don't you tell everybody a little bit of an introduction to who you are so that they know you a little bit better.
Well, thanks, Haley. So basically, I've been in the real estate business for about 32 years in Southern California, over here in Ventura County, LA County. I've sold probably about a little over 4,500 homes. So I've had a lot of experience on all different levels of lead generation. You know, I came in the business fresh and new, mentored with a lot of people, learned a lot of things, failed a lot of ways. And in the failing, I learned how to get better. What I learned really was presentation was important, how I showed up, how I was able to communicate. You know, I was young at that time. I'm a lot older now, but I was young at that time. And it was funny because I was so speedy, you know, but I had everything in my head. And so it was funny, you know, a lot of times when I was coaching with some of the big coaches or being on stage, I was thinking, how do I deliver this, you know, and how am I going to be received in delivering this message or doing something different? And most agents, unfortunately, are not being trained in a way that would help them benefit to move forward and be better. So we call it two different kind of agents, right? And I hope no one gets upset if I say it this way, but there's the average agent on one side, and that's a really tough market today for those average agents.
Right.
The other side is the efficient and profitable agent. And when I mean efficient, I mean ready to be ready when he's supposed to or she's supposed to be ready. Like being prepared is such a big thing. And when we talk about, everybody hates sometimes, oh, scripts, please don't bring that up. You know, well, I understand that, but it doesn't mean your script did. So you have to take away that part. And the other thing is objection handling. Oh my God, why would you want that? And I'm saying, well, that's the only way you can convert and close is by having and handling a great objection, you know? And then like you and I were talking about, how do we follow up well so that when there's 10 other agents following up the same client, how do you stand out in a way that they have clarity and you are the one that they feel trusted by? So, you know, we laugh about it, Haley. So it's like, how did they achieve a second date?
Yes.
That's what we'll talk about. Okay. How are you going to achieve a second date? Meaning, you know, how is the clients going to see you again? That's the goal.
Awesome. I love it. And I think I talk to a lot of customers that for REDX, right? People that are calling expireds and for sale by owners and everything.
Yeah.
And the biggest hurdle they have to get over is they're like, oh, I'm just going to get these objections. And what if I don't know what to say? Or what if like, you know, or if they say no, am I just, okay, am I done? And so we hear that all the time. So that's where I think we should start is the objection handling and how to handle those, the mindset you should go into with those and things like that. So let's start there.
So, you know, it's funny because one year of my expires, when I learned that I didn't have to go cold calling and go find the needle in the haystack, I found that expires were right in front of my face. And that was like, I became addicted in a sense, like, oh, wait a second, there's a whole new lead generation I'm not doing. So I engaged in it with like, oh, how am I going to close every expired? So let's start with, when we talk about objection handling, that's like an expired script. You don't go by script, you go by objection. So through an expired script, it's a longer script, you have to pull off the script handle the objection, and then pull it right back on again. So are you able to do that is the challenge, and that most people have. So let's think about objection handling and conversion closing techniques. So let's think about it, right? So number one, where does the objection happen? So every buyer and seller call, there's going to be an objection because you're going to try to set an appointment, right? Every presentation, listing or buyer, and I hope you guys are doing buyer presentations today because you have to stand out, right? So there's objections. Every discussion, in order to convert into a written contract, there's objections, right? Every time you're negotiating with a client or another agent, if you're putting an offer in with there's 10 other offers in, there's objections. How do you stand out? When you're asked for a price reduction, there's the objection. So if you're saying I don't like objections, you're saying I don't like real estate, you know? When you have an ultimate open, like for example, open houses. Does everybody get, I have another agent in an open house? Because every single person does, right? But are you handling it in a sense of, tell me a little bit about that. So if everybody's on this call and they don't write down, tell me a little bit more about that. That helps you guide yourself into something. So you're not going to go, oh, I want to take that client away from their agent. You're going to go, is it a real client or a real agent? It's that reflex no that always happens, right? Hey, can I help you? No. It's just a reflex no. And that's how they see you're a salesperson. Don't bother me. But now stop being a salesperson and learn how to relate, right? So, you know, when you speak to your kids, there's objections. So probably try them first because they got your number down, right?
Yeah.
So most of life we're handling objections. So don't take it as a negative. That's the first mindset. Take it as an opportunity. So when you have an objection, it's an opportunity to close, opportunity to really stand out, right? So I guess I'll think about how, so I always ask the following 7 things I would say, right? How do you think you come across, and then how do you really come across from the person you're speaking to? So 2 things. How do you think you're coming across? And how's it really coming across, right? We think we're coming across in the way like, oh God, I'm sounding really good. But the person receiving you is probably going, what is he talking about, right?
That's why you won't get a second date.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God, please, I gotta go to the bathroom. Run. So number 2, does a person you're working with feel engaged in the conversation? Are they responding back with you? I mean, sometimes you forget to even tell them, you know, you don't even call them by name. It's that simple as things like, you know, Haley, no, that makes someone go, oh, I'm here. You're actually talking to me. It's like, you ever see someone in a listing presentation, and they have 2 people there, but they're only talking to one? And then the other person's the one making decisions that says, this person ignored me the whole time.
Right.
So remember this thing I say later is, did you read the room correctly? So you should write that down. Am I reading the room correctly when I'm speaking, right? So when number 3, I would say, do you believe you're providing value when you're speaking? So what is value? Now, value comes across from what they want to receive, right? The only way you're going to provide value to them is asking questions. What's important to you? Write that down. What's important to you is like you're saying, I care. Right? So do you ask enough questions in order to really understand what is important? That's really important. Are you really engaging? Like, look at, we all went to school. You know, cheat sheets were great because we had all the questions right there, right? We knew we're coming to a test. We're like, yes, I got it. You know, now we're meeting somebody for the first time and we know nothing. We don't even pre-qual. We just go, right? Because we're on that go pace. Right. You got to slow back and go ask enough questions to see what you really want. Now, what I always say is when you're speaking, do you provide credibility? Because what's the second date is, I trust you and I want to actually see it again. I want to see you again because the trust is important. Credibility today in this market is really important. And I said to you, have you read the room, right? So when you read a room correctly, you understand their concerns. They're talking about, these are my concerns, right? Same thing is, again, they want to know is, are you the right person to help me with the solutions to order to achieve? Like today, you have 10 offers on a property and they go, my person can't get those for me. What is your solution if that's their concern? Or am I going to overpay? Well, that's a great objection, right? What's the solution to overpaying, right? Last but not least is how you deliver. And when you deliver, is it being accepted and received well by your client? Are you being accepted? So when we're going into this discussion, we're always going in it as, you look at, I'm going to actually have an engagement and have a great time discussing something with somebody. My goal is I leave with a client that wants to follow me, right? My goal is not to make the client unaware, uncomfortable, or feel like I couldn't communicate, right?
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, I like it because I think it sounds a lot like awareness of what's going on, of like the conversation, making sure that you're reaching them, you're saying things that they want to hear.
Right.
Because I think, I mean, real estate agents get a bad rap where they're like, oh, these salespeople, they're calling me and they, and you can sound too salesy. You can sound like too forward, too aggressive. And so coming from a place of bringing value, being confident, showing your credibility, like things that you said, can help the conversation go a lot more smoothly.
Bring the conversation to objection. Bring it there. Don't be scared of it, right? Again, remember, average to the efficient, right? Do you stumble or do you start speeding up on your discussion when you're responding, right? So whenever we said how to read a person or how to do it, we're just going to think about 5 elements of objection handling. Okay. Number 1 element is going to be your tone, right? Yes. So look at, I've done probably 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 calls in my day. Okay. And what I had to really learn was stay in pace, keep the tone. When you're on a phone call, only 7% of your tone is there.
Yeah.
That's all you get, right? But when you're in person, you get everything. Not only do you get your tone, you get your body language, right? So the idea of it is, how's my tone? Am I actually pacing? Am I staying with the person? Is my speed too fast? Is it too slow? So what do we know, right? Haley, if you are a fast or slow talker, and I'm the opposite, are we in rapport? No. You're kind of getting irritated with me. It's like, would you speed up? Get to the, like, I'm a bottom line guy. So when someone talks slow, I'm like, oh, please let this be over. That's what I'm thinking, right? And unfortunately, it's probably coming in my face at them and they don't even read it, right? Because they're too busy speaking. But then if you're slow talking and I'm speeding, we're out of rapport. You're thinking, con artist. I know, he just cares about the sale. That's what's going on in the brain. So you got to go, how do I actually either stay in line or out? So speed is important, right? The third thing is clarity. Are you clear when you speak, right? So if you have the correct presuppositions and the correct tie downs, and you space it and pause it perfectly, you're clear when you're speaking. But when you're like putting it all together in one shot, like they had to go back and go, what did that mean? Right. So I call it break down the discussion. You know what I'm saying? So in the sense that it's like, Haley, don't you think this podcast is great? And obviously having us on it creates a great result for agents. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
You see, I'm pausing in those processes because I gave you a command, gave you a presupposition, and also tied down. It's like you tie it down. So let's go to tie downs, number 4. Those are important. Doesn't that make sense? That's a tie down. Wouldn't you agree? Does that sound good? I mean, sometimes they go, yeah, sounds great. You just didn't ask. You just went right over it. right?
Mm.
And last but not least is the conversion happens, the close, right? The close for the appointment. The problem is no one closes. They sit
It's
there.
scary.
Yeah, they're like, oh, am I gonna upset them?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It's a 0% chance if you don't. So again, you don't want to be the salesperson. You want to be the person that says, if this all makes sense, Haley, shouldn't we just get started now?
Yes.
See, and that's the biggest pause you have right there. Because you sit there and you go, is he going to say anything else? Hell no. I'm waiting. Give me that yes.
Better say something.
Yeah, say something, please. So when you look at receiving the objections, do you hear the words you're saying? Right? So when someone's talking to us, it's like, are you hearing it? Right? Are you hearing it? Or are you talking still? So you see agents and they're good agents and they go, well, I'm trying to think while they're talking so I can handle this. Right? Oh, I'm thinking, but they're not really hearing what's happening.
Yeah.
So what I always say to everybody is no one's telling you when you have to respond here. You get to choose that. So listen clearly and then pause and go, that's interesting. And then go in. You give yourself time to talk, right?
Yeah.
I do have my kids. Oh, that sounds important. I can see how you feel that way. And then, so let me ask you this. You see what I'm doing? So I'm converting into that process of, I clearly understand you. I appreciate it. I'm going to repeat what you say. So Haley, this helps me kind of remember what they said and handle the objection. So I'm kind of give myself time.
Yeah.
So what I heard you say, Haley, is that you're concerned about buying a home in this market today. Is that correct?
Right.
Then boom, you're stepping right back and going, so let me ask you one more question. In order for you to buy today and not pay as high as you're going to pay tomorrow, would you want to engage and get the right time, the right home today? So you got to kind of work it. Does that make sense to you? How do I help you get there? And that's the things that you're looking at. So, pause when needed and really emphasize the things you want them to hear.
Nice.
That's what I see. When I sell your home is you always got to presume that you are it. You're the person. When you buy a home with me, it's like, I'll give you a great thing, okay? I was working with my team the other day and I said to them, look when you meet, like say we have a lot of Zillow Flex and all that on our team. And I said, you meet these people for the first time at the house.
Yeah.
When you get out of the car, and hopefully you're there first, but when you get out of the car, don't go straight to the house. Get your body in a position to have a discussion first. So what's the first question? Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Stephen, Christie Realty Group. So, I always do this with all clients. Let me ask you, how do you like to live your home? First question. They're like, oh, no one's ever asked me that.
I love that.
When I say that to them, I say, because when I go through the home with you, I want to make sure it fits what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what does your home look like now? And what changes are you looking for? You see what I'm saying? So why I ask them what their home looks like now is, are they buying or renting? I'm going to ask that. So I'm going to qualify what's going to happen. And they go, great. Well, let's go look at this home. It's got the 3 bedrooms. Let's go look and see if it fits what you need. Now I started something with rapport and I've asked them a couple questions and sometimes they start talking. And then sometimes when I know that it's a husband and wife, I'll go, oh, great. So what do you think, George? Or, go back. Because I want the first impression for the second date. I want someone to say, wow, that person was concerned about me before about seeing the house. Make sense?
Yeah, and those things are easy. Like, we're humans. We pick up on those things. If you're not really asking them questions or talking to them like a person, then they're like, yeah, this is just a salesperson. Or it's really easy to pick up on those things. So,
and we get excited. We go through a whole day of work. I get it. I get that it's not simple sometimes. Sometimes you had a bad day, you're trying to have a good day, but you just got to make sure to, Men in Black, saying your memory's gone and you start new,
Right.
Well, that's sometimes what you need to do. It's like, it's get better. That's all.
Mm. Yeah, I love it. Well, and I want to move on to just scripts too, because
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about a lot about objection handling, which I love, and it's probably one of the most biggest things that we get from our customers is just worrying about objections. And I think all of these things, and you can record your calls to go back
Yeah.
and go through these lists and see like, okay, what was my tone like?
Yes.
Sandy asked what number 2 was, which is speed, right? So
Right, right. So
matching
tone,
the speed.
speed, clarity, tie downs, closes. So
Perfect.
number 2 is speed, and that's probably, again, you know,
Yeah.
Haley would be looking at me going, would he speed up? He's driving me nuts. No, it's speed.
So then let's go into, because you mentioned scripts, how
Yes.
you have a script and you get off a script to do an objection
Okay.
handler or anything. So go
So
ahead.
scripts are scripts, right? And what I always say to my team is look at we have certain scripts for certain lead generation, right? There's a script that you had to have for Zillow. There's a script that you had to have for door knocking. There's a script that I actually build in the best open house they can have. I give them everything to work with. And the idea that I'm saying is scripts, people go, I hate scripts. And it's like, why
Yeah.
do you hate scripts? I mean, look at actors don't hate scripts and they get paid a lot of money. Don't hate
True.
scripts, right? But be better at it. Well, I don't want
Mhm.
to sound like I'm scripted. I'm like, well,
Like
you're
a
not
robot.
supposed to.
Yeah.
You're supposed to really know it so you don't sound it. I've been embedded in all my scripts, and I still to this day could probably say every single one of them. But the idea of the script is for you to help you to achieve. Now, certain scripts are just going bing, bing, bing. Hey, when you're doing an open house or basically you're door knocking,
Mhm.
hey, I'm Stephen in the neighborhood, and I have a new client looking to buy in your neighborhood. Do you know anybody who's thinking about selling? I mean, that's a simple script, right?
Yeah.
How long have you lived here? Where'd you move from? How'd you happen to pick this area? It's so simple, but you can sound really good without being scripted. But
Right.
the number one thing is, if you were to move, where would you go next? That's the number one importance of any script anyway, because you don't know the motivation. The motivation has to be brought out. So, but then you go to expired script. An expired script is all about you have a different person, a different attitude, a
Mhm.
different approach. And that the script is more like you're going in to get the objection so you can close for the appointment. So
Right.
you gotta know. And everybody just goes through a script without closing. Like, the biggest thing, and I teach my team about listing presentation, right? And listing presentation is by script, but no one sees the script. It's just what it says is the first part of it is all about rapport. Second part is all about value of the CMA. Third part is what we're going to do in marketing, but you want to close in each part.
Hmm.
So sometimes we never even have to get to marketing because you did so well in rapport and so
Yeah.
well on the comps. They're like, let's go. I get you. I get you. I like you. But that's because it was built by how we would approach it. And if it's the same thing and canned ready to go, you're more often going to win because you're not going to just wing it and fail. So it's
Hmm.
important to understand that. But the problem you have is if you don't practice the script,
Yeah.
then you don't become it.
Hmm.
It's that simple.
I like that. You don't practice, you don't sound, then you'll sound like a robot, and then you won't want to do it, and then you won't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's okay. Real estate, and I hate people hate this, and I'm going to say it, but real estate, when you're trying to have lead generation and working with a lot of people and
yeah.
trying to figure out how to get them, it's a numbers game. The more people you contact, the more opportunities you have. So the
Hmm.
less people you contact. So what is going towards your goal? Are you set up with how to be great to get to your goal? Or you think having one contact a day is going to make it? You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
really up to you. It's your consistency, how you practice it. I always tell everybody when I coach all these different teams, and I go, look at, find a buddy, be accountable. Accountability is in my actual schedule. It's called practice.
Mm.
Sports stars practice every day, and that's why they get paid what they do. The ones who don't, obviously don't.
Right. They don't make it to the big leagues.
Nope, that's it.
Mhm.
So I think when you're looking at scripts, you should have it for what you like. So scripts equals lead generation systems. Like you said earlier, visible scripts, expired scripts, door knock, whatever you choose. If you're farming, whatever you choose, set it up so that you sound consistent. You sound good. And every single time you're doing something, the bottom of your script should always be, whether they're going to go with you or not, who do you know? Everybody forgets that. Even after I take a listing, I'm looking at my client and I'm like, I'm ready to get started. Now, what I do in every appointment before I leave is start making a list. Do you know anybody else who's thinking about buying or selling today? They go, us? I go, yeah, because right now you're talking about real estate to all your friends. Is anybody else I can help? I go, let me ask you this. If I ask this on my next presentation and they happen to give me somebody who actually could buy your home, would that be okay? They're like, yeah, I guess it does. I go, this is the guy you hired. This is not what you're looking for. And that's the thing. So, don't come off something that you do consistently. That's all. You just don't know when you'll miss something.
I like it.
Make sense? Yeah.
Makes sense. And it's simple. Like, don't overcomplicate it, because I think everyone looks for the golden script or the perfect thing that is going to. Right. And that's the thing, is they're just like looking for this magic bullet or whatever that is going to make it happen. But really, you just need to practice a script, something that is going to work, that will help guide you through the conversation. But really the most important thing is to actually get on the phone and actually make those contacts. So
definitely. And again, it goes to follow-up. The follow-up is important.
Yeah.
You can do all this work, you get all these things going, then you lack follow-up skills.
And then it's for nothing, because money's in the follow-up.
And like you said, the best thing is today, you can listen to your calls. You can even look at yourself, send your calls to your partner and like, hey, listen to me. You get a feedback. Feedback's important, right?
Right.
But follow-up's huge. And if you don't do follow-up well, this is the wrong business for you.
I like that. I know we're running out of time here, but I do want to ask you just quickly, like, some good follow-up principles that you would tell people, because I know people love to follow up. They don't do it a lot. So give us a couple really good nuggets.
So number one, make sure it's on your schedule. 2, make sure it's in various times. 3, make sure your top 10 are on there. Your top 10 ready to go now is in front of your face every single day. 4, if you're not getting them during the day, take a half hour at night and call certain people. Because you know what? Oh, I didn't get them. I couldn't get them. Yeah, they're working. So, excuse me, maybe you should go when they're not working. If you don't have appointments on a Saturday, best day for follow-up. Take 4 hours that day and just catch up on everybody. Those are the best tips you can have. And follow up, make sure when you took your notes, have great notes on your CRM, and make sure the last information you heard from them is the first startup of your next call.
I like
Moving to Texas. Hey, last time we spoke, Haley, you're talking about Texas. Is that still the plan today? Make sure that they remember talking to you, because they've talked to more than just you. Remember, you're not the only person. Okay.
I love it. That's perfect. I mean, we talked about 3 really important things: objection handling, scripts, and follow-up. And those are like 3 of the most basic, fundamental things if you want a successful business to make sure you do. But Stephen, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us today. Do you have any final words, last advice, anything to leave our audience with?
The most important part is, when you get stuck, get unstuck. Look for people to be your mentor, your coach. Get involved in certain groups, networks. I'm involved in all the different social medias. Look us up. We can expand people to you. We like networking. I have a partner of mine who we're going to do a lot of more calls and stuff. Just be involved. Look me up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The only thing I don't do is TikTok, but the idea is I do everything else. So
Awesome.
I'm LinkedIn. So have fun with it. Let's try to work together. It's all of us trying to be better in the business. That's all we want to do.
I love that. Thanks, Stephen. And we'll make sure to put all of your links down in the show notes so people can
Fantastic.
easily go and find you. But thanks again for coming and sharing all of your expertise with us. We'll have to have you on again because there's so much more that we can talk about. So
Definitely. Well, I'm glad you had me on, Hilly. It was a lot of fun.
yes, of course. And to our audience, thank you so much for everyone that came and watched live. And for those that are listening to it after the show, we are here every Thursday at 1:30 Mountain Time. That's 3:30 Eastern Time. So we will see everybody same time, same place next week. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.